them before? How scarier. I think I'm just going to sit over here.
Me too. Me too. We promise to never be bad again. Be sorry.
What's that noise?
Oh, God, make it stop! Promise we'll be good.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Gets me. It's getting louder. Are we gonna die?
Yeah, I think this is it. I think this is the end.
I don't want it to hurt.
Goodbye, little one. Oh, I love you all. You're the best family I could ever hope for. Bill, I used to smell your hair in your sleep. What? You comforted me.
Goodbye. Have you come to kill us?
No, of course not.
This room is just like ours.
And Callum, you're here.
Why do they look so scared?
They must have been given the pill. Did they give you something?
It's okay. We're not going to hurt you. We're just like you, but from another room.
Another room? How many of us are there?
We don't know.
Ask him. He knows, don't you, Brian?
Brian? Callum, what are they talking about?
Callum? Is that what they call you? I think you've got some explaining to do.
All right. My name is not Callum, nor is it Brian.
What is it then?
My name is Dr. Robert Hannon. And this is a experimental drug testing facility. And you are our guests.
Guests! We're prisoners!
Not quite. Well, you may see it that way, but the truth is, you have all asked to be here.
What? Why would anyone choose to live like this?
You all had your reasons.
My name is Dr. Daniels. I oversee this facility and the trials that take place here. We do not kidnap people. We do not force them to take part. We openly advertise our intent to the public. This was explained to you when you first arrived here, and you all chose to came here of your own free will. But none of you remember.
Why don't we remember?
To make it easier for you and for us.
You, sir. How long do you think you've been here?
Few months.
Actually, Mr. Brookman, you have been here for 5 years.
Mr. Brookman?
Yes, that's right. Mr. Barnaby Henry Brookman. I find it incredible that all of you have chosen names for yourselves. Very sweet. Some. There are things where we were successfully wipe from your memories. Some thoughts and some memories were perhaps too ingrained. This is why Arthur here and his wife Susan in another room had to be separated. They've been married for 50 years. Impossible to wipe completely. And if they were still together, well, they remembered everything.
And what would have been so bad about remembering?
Well, being kept in such a small space for extreme periods of time will eventually drive you all insane. So, for your own mental welfare, we remove you from your rooms every few months. reset your memories, and we will put you in another room. And like goldfish, with their short-term memories in a fish tank, you'll be swimming around happily. Almost.
So, no one dies when they've been taken away.
Goodness, no, of course not.
But Cinderella, you shot her.
I assure you that your Cinderella friend is quite safe and well in another room.
But we heard the shots.
Well, yes. But we don't really have the manpower to physically keep you in these rooms. It's been a lot more economical. Look, it was to make you think by remaining inside these rooms was a lot more safe than leaving it. We would never hurt anyone.
But you electrocute us with these.
Oh, yes. Another trick, my dear. You were all mentally conditioned that you were feeling intense pain. The high-pitched sound in the speakers that triggers it. Your mind can be easily programmed to trick you to feeling intense pain.
Why all the experiments? What were they for?
Well, Miss Ruane, we live in a world that people aren't happy anymore. They need confidence, a boost of energy. Some people want their days to fly by quickly. Some of which they want to be more productive in a short time. But our drugs unlock that potential.
Why would anyone have to be terrified and need to be manipulated?
I can answer this. The pharmaceutical companies aren't the only ones who sponsor our research, Mr. Clark. The military does too. Imagine using a chemical that can make your enemies terrified of you and unsure of themselves. A dangerous weapon, to be sure, but one that can easily win conflicts without the need for total bloodshed.
I don't believe it. I don't believe I would sign up for this. I want the truth!
Very well, Mr. Coles. But I must warn you, the truth will be far more painful than what you have felt in this room.
My name is Tom Course, and I give permission to be part of this experiment.
My name is Darren Langford, and I give permission to be part of this
My
experiment.
name is Douglas Coco, and I give permission
My name is Rebecca Moraine, and I give permission to be part of the experiment.
We are Arthur
My name is Barnaby Bergman,
Clark,
and
we give permission to be part of this experiment.
It's Icy Right, and I give permission
My name is
to be
Beatrice
part
Joseph, and I
of
give
this
permission to be
experiment.
part of this experiment.
Tom Coles, you were an addicted gambler who owed an extreme amount of money. Your debtors will be paid after you complete your trial in 3 years. Otherwise, as far as I know, they were prepared to have you killed. Darren Langford, you ran a pudding business that unfortunately went bust. You lost everything. Your only option was to come to us, as the money you gained from these trials will be enough to start your life over again. Doug Cockle, for you it is just about the money. You are homeless, unable to get any job. You have a few more years left, and after that you're free to spend your compensation however you wish. Rebecca Ruane, your husband left you and took the kids. You were an alcoholic and were refused the chance to see them until you recovered. You thought that being here instead was a better life than wallowing at home in self-pity, drinking your problems away. Stuart Souter, your brother returned some years ago from the army with PTSD. Our medication can help him. Once you complete your trial, you will gain a lifetime supply of what he needs, which would otherwise be too expensive. Arthur Clark, you and your wife, Susan, have a son who is terribly ill and is in need of constant assistance for the rest of his life. After you complete your trial, you will gain the money to pay for his treatment. Otherwise, he would surely die. Barnaby Brookman, you chose to be here instead of prison, in which you were sentenced to 7 years for armed robbery, in which you also accidentally killed the security guard. You thought that being here instead for 15 years was a better alternative than prison. The lesser of two evils. Ashley Wade, you had a mental breakdown after your wife died during a terrorist attack. You wanted a way to forget the pain as well as contribute to the war effort against the Americans to avenge her death. Alistair Churton, you're here because you were involved in a horrific car accident. Not your fault, but the crash did result in the deaths of your passengers, which included a small girl, your niece. You couldn't live with yourself, and realizing suicide would only make things worse for your family, you chose to come here to forget.
Small place, I can see.
Katrina Henderson, you are suffering from a terminal illness. You only have 6 months left to live before, I'm sad to say, you'll pass away. You have 2 very young children. Your fee for participation will go towards them as they make their way into the world without you. So, as you can all see, you all have a reason to be here, and why this life is better for you than out there. You are, of course, free to go. Nothing to stop you. However, you will all forfeit the compensation as per the contract which you all signed. So, ladies and gentlemen, what's it going to be? Will you let your children grow up with nothing? Carry on living with the memories of your dead loved ones? Go back to prison? Remain homeless forever? Let your son die? Let your brother continue to suffer? Drink your problems away? Or pay your debtors with your life? Or shall we each take one of these and forget today ever happened, so that we may continue with the wonderful work we are doing for humanity? The door is open.
I'll watch him bring you to your knees.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Very nice twist at the end.
Yeah,
Just sort of
very nice.
sweet, very...
Yeah, but how do you know whether to tell the truth? Hey, yeah. Maybe there'll be a second part. In the summer.
Yeah.
You too.
Yeah.
Nice to see you. You're going to come to other shows, aren't you?
I plan to, yeah, coming in summer.
Yeah. Just a child fest and all that malarkey.
Well, try to, yeah. It's just, we only knew about it because they posted it on the forum, didn't
That's
they?
what I mean.
So,
You'll get kept on the forum, so you'll
yeah,
yeah.
keep informed so we know when it is. And, yeah. Otherwise it'll be too late.
Yeah. Too much cheese, so I have to pay for work. Especially after this. Yeah, you wouldn't give nightmares, would you?
Cheers.
You're going to go around and see it?
I like to go see them. Turn these.
That was amazing, huh? I mean, that was...
What do you mean? So you go for there, but I'm part of the audience, so I have to go around here. That's just backstage right over there, so it's...
Yeah, and everybody got their lines and brilliant. Bobby and everybody's ready.
Right, the camera's right over there, and there you go. Oh, he's going to pick up the cameras.
What do I do with mine? Should I put this in the box? You know my land time bought. Your nan's outside. I want to leave.
Okay, so now I'm actually able to talk them.
Right.
Off and batteries out, and the same with all three of those. Batteries out and in box. Matt.
Oh, I can't because I have no nails.
Oh yeah, all of their names, they all chose their names. the relationship. So, you know, we've got a topic tomorrow.
Matt, found the USB.
Yeah.
Tyler! Hello. Can I mob you an extension?
No, me. I can't the extension.
Well,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, there was no doubt in my mind. I knew she'd be back. She's going to be back. Alright.